Hello, everybody listening to the Fair Weather Podcast. Your boy 2K Suave. I'm here with my dog A-Rod. And then we have a special guest today, Mr. Gio Aponte. Coach Gio, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. We're talking about the NFC West, which my team is there. So it's going to be some great conversations.
You got a lot of teams, man, like all over the place.
Yeah, my teams don't stay. I'm from New York originally, but my teams just don't stay in those. So I got the Rams, the Georgia Bulldogs, the Spurs, the Seattle Mariners. So my teams are all over the place.
Yeah, you just random.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show, man. We appreciate having you. Oh yeah, A-Rod is here. How you doing?
It's like an ongoing theme. I just get skipped all the time in my show. So thanks for coming on, Gio. Really appreciate it, man. I told KK he's got to do some homework and bring some of his people that he knows out there. So glad to have you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we give the laydown of what we're going to go over on the show. Obviously, we have a special guest today. We have Gio. We'll get some questions in on him, get to know him a little bit better as our guest on the show. And then, like we've been saying all week, we're going to run down different divisions. So we're going on the West Coast. We'll do AFC and NFC West Coast. And then for fun, segment at the end of the show. Sorry, Nick, we aren't doing where do you go to college. We're going to do a segment of our favorite touchdowns, sacks, etc. celebrations in the NFL. So if there's
no fun league
number, just whatever one.
No NFL, man.
Yeah, the no fun league. We're trying to have some fun with it. So we'll go run that down. But yeah, KK, take it away. Introduce your guest to the show and let's go, your boy.
So Gio, man, we rep. Well, we met in Kissimmee, Florida, Gateway High School. 407 Osceola.
The pride of Gateway High School.
The pride. Class of what, 08? Right?
Yeah, man, it's been a long time, Kay.
Been a while. So we've both been on this path for a little while. He swears he knows more than me and he could talk sports better than me.
Hey, that conversation's so old, man. That was
I know.
I'm just 2010, man.
It's an ongoing conversation that we used to have before, but yeah, we've kept it going this long. He's got his thing that he's doing with Rudy, right? That's his name.
Yes, with Rudy Campo Jr. of Sweep the League. Yeah.
Sweep the League. Yo, plug your podcast real quick.
Plug your show.
So the Sweep the League podcast. So we meet about every Wednesday. We talk about fantasy football, NFL, what's going on in the NBA, a little baseball from time to time, but for the most part, every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Wait. 7 o'clock Central Time. There we go.
Yeah, so, Central now. You in Chicago now, right?
Yeah, man, I'm in Chicago. Yeah, I moved about a year and some change.
How you liking it out there?
It's a good city, man. Like what you see on the news, is right, but I mean, it's a really good city. Got great people, good food, and just some pretty good atmosphere. But the cold does kind of damper it, and we're getting ready for that in the next few months.
Exactly. You south side, north side? East side, west side, I don't know how.
I'm on the north side, man. I don't really stick on the south side. It's a little bit too dangerous for me down there.
Don't go to the south side late at night and walk down those streets, man.
No, man. So there's crime everywhere, but for sure, south side, you won't be catching me unless I go get some tacos, man. The best tacos are always in the hood, and Chicago's no different.
Of course. I went to Chicago once. Well, when I was a kid, I went a couple of times. I used to live in Detroit. But in my adult life, I went once and I got pulled over and they made me get out the car and they searched me all this stuff.
Damn, what a hell of a trip, Kay.
I fit some description, but it wasn't me. I promise you that it was not me. But that's
Black
good, man.
That's what it was, man.
But you getting cultured out there. But yeah, me and Gio used to play football back in high school for Coach.
Yeah, man.
For Coach Butch Caldwell.
Good old Butch, man. That guy's a classic, man. He had so many sayings, and you kind of think back like that. Some of the stuff he said was probably right. Some of the stuff was a bit far-fetched, but
just real Southern.
Yeah. Oh yeah, real Southern. I assume he's from Alabama.
Yeah.
He always had an Alabama cup. So
yeah, he did. Yeah. He was Roll Tide. He was probably Roll Tide all day. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's dope.
Let's get to know our guest, man. So Kay has been reminiscing with him, going down memory lane back at good old Kissimmee, Gateway High School. But yeah, so you do podcasting. So I'll keep a simple question for you. What made you want to get into podcasting?
Well, for the most part, like my love for sports. I mean, I've been following sports for a long time, and I've seen other people do it. So I thought, well, I can kind of talk about sports. Let me give it a go. So I started podcasting a little bit with Project Spurs, which is kind of a Spurs network there in San Antonio, and just kind of started to get used to it. Started meeting some people in that podcasting community, and then I started getting Twitter, and just started doing that, and it kind of just caught my eye. So now, it's kind of like a side hobby. I don't do it for the main, but I just love sports, and I just love talking about it. So that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
Like
It's plain and simple.
Yeah, it's just plain. So I talk about sports.
Yeah, KK and I've been talking about this for a long time, so we finally put it into fruition. So, my co-host always loves to get ahead of himself and everything. So we all know you have a big plethora of sports all over the table of your liking. So, the Rams, the Mariners, the Spurs, the Bulldogs are all over the map. So, why do you like all of these teams? Why isn't it like one central place? Like, I'm a New Yorker. I'm a everything diehard New York fan, even though they're trash. Somehow he's a Philly fan, even though every year they disappoint him too. Hence why we made this podcast. So why these programs? Why do these like
it's so weird. Every team has a different story. So when I moved to Florida, I didn't want to move to Florida as a kid. So one of the first college football games I ever saw was Georgia versus Florida. And I hated the fact that I moved to Florida. So I said, I'm just going to go root for Georgia. And ever since, I think 2001, 2002, I just always rooted for them. And then for the Spurs, my brother had a David Robinson poster on his wall for like 2 years. And even though I'm from New York, I followed the Knicks, but
they let you down. End of the day.
They just kind of let us down. So I said, that David Robinson poster. And I said, I'm gonna just be a Spurs fan. And when people meet me, like, you're a Spurs fan, like I'm like the only Spurs fan like in Orlando, at that time. Like, I don't know. There might be another one out there, but when I was in Orlando, I really didn't come across too many Spurs fans. And for the Rams, I started watching Marshall Faulk play with the Colts. It kind of feels like way back in the day. Mm-hmm. And he ended up getting traded to the Rams. And I said, well, I'll just like the Rams. And I mean, that team was just, they were trash in the 90s. Mm-hmm. They kind of caught fire. And I kind of went on a little Super Bowl run there. But then after that, it was kind of sinking ship for a long time until Sean McVay gets there. So that's kind of the Rams. And the Seattle Mariners, I grew up a big Ken Griffey fan. So he had one of the sweetest swings. And again, another team that started off really good, and then they haven't made the playoffs since 2001. But the team has come along. They got some good young stars there. So, and then actually my last team is the Duke Blue Devils in basketball.
Oh God.
My brothers growing up, my brothers were all Carolina fans. I mean, they just loved those teams. And I just didn't want to root for the same team. So the Duke Blue Devils are probably like a team that I kind of don't follow too much college basketball like I used to, but whenever they're on, I try to go to one of their Zion games, and man, those tickets, I don't know how people, some of those prices were literally insane to go see Zion when he was there at Duke. So I haven't been there just yet. But yeah, those are all my teams. All kind of have some weird, kind of different stories, but it kind of works out.
That's why that name and likeness deal is a big deal, because Zion, they had President Obama showing up to the damn basketball game.
So these players now, it's a different game with all these kids kind of get paid. And I mean, Madden still sucks, but hopefully with the NCAA football games, we can get something better. I can't wait
for that to come back. Oh my, I cannot wait for that to come back.
Yeah, so I think like you're a true fan of like certain players, and that's where your lineage lies with the teams, and you've grown with it. So no hate and no shame in that. I like that a lot. I was a big Griffey fan, and I liked the Mariners as a kid too. But I mean, my allegiance was with the Yankees, and yeah, Ken Griffey Jr., man, best swing in baseball. Nobody can fight. Someone can fight me on that. You heard it. All right, so obviously you've known KK for a long time. He's my co-host on this show. I've known him for, what are we going on, like 6 years now, maybe a little bit
longer than that.
8?
About 10.
Oh shit. Okay, about 10.
Damn, man, he's trying to add on some years to that friendship.
I mean, we've been out of college for a bit, and like connect all the time when we come across friends and stuff like that. But give me some dirt on KK that I don't know. Some kind of dirt that y'all, some crazy shit y'all did in high school or something like that.
Damn, some
Not
dirt
me.
on KK.
Nah, man, I ain't got no dirt. I'm as clean cut as they come.
Dude, KK was in the IB program, right, K? I think.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not too much dirt on
I kept it smooth the whole way.
To be honest, I can't really I don't really know any dirt. I'm sure K got some dirt on me because I did some dumb shit in high school. But to be honest, I don't really. I'm trying to think back, and it's been quite some time.
Damn, this is the boy.
So how I am, and to this day is how I am. I stay under the radar. No, seriously, I don't want no one. I don't want to
rob the bank with. You want to rob the bank with this guy right here, man.
No one will ever find me because I stay under the radar. No one knows no one knows too much about me. You only know. Okay, I like to party. I used to like to party a lot. That was it. Outside of that, you will never know what's going on. I move real stealth, like a ninja.
I'm sorry, A-Rod, but
I nothing.
I really don't got much on this guy, man. He was in the IB program. He had good grades. I mean, he played sport. I mean,
I was
telling you, man, I'm the American dream.
It's American dream. I mean,
American dream, man.
I was expecting some more stories, but
maybe somebody out there may have some college stories on K. I'm pretty sure, but
yeah, but they're sworn to secrecy. I made them all sign NDAs, so you got nothing on you. Nobody's got nothing on me. Trust me.
Yeah, he said, "Hey man, my girl watches this show. Chill with that shit." All right, let's go break it down. Let's go NFL talk now. We're gonna start with your team's division. I guess we'll start with your team in the NFC West. We'll go Rams. We'll break it down for you. So there's obviously a changing of guard at the helm. Matt Stafford is now there. Jared Goff. Sean McVay said, "Stop hitting on my girl. Like, you're out of here." So they got rid of him. So let's run down the key additions. So traded to get Matthew Stafford. You got wide receiver Deshaun Jackson, who's KK's fifth favorite Eagle of all time, I think. And you got linebacker Leonard Floyd. Literally, those are the three ones that they put on NFL.com that I could look at. That's the only three signings. Key departures. You traded Jared Goff. Malcolm Brown just signed with the Dolphins. Josh Reynolds is in the Titans. Gerald Everett is with the Seahawks. Michael Brockers got traded to the Lions, and Troy Hill and John Johnson, which I don't like that name at all, are in Cleveland. And then you drafted late. I think their first pick was in the second or third round. Tutu Atwell, Ernest Jones, linebacker, and then defensive tackle Bobby Brown III, who has no relation to Bobby Brown. So this is a similar looking team for the most part. Couple pieces missing. We'll let the guest speak about your team. How do you feel about your team going into the season that's about to start?
Pretty good. I mean, this is the team that got to the second round of the playoffs. We lost to Aaron Rodgers, no shame in that. But we did miss some pieces, but we also got some young guys on this team. Tutu Atwell is going to play. Deshaun Jackson, listen, he's going to have those home run balls, but I don't think he's going to play the entire year as we've seen the past few seasons. So Tutu Atwell comes in, and then on defense, Ernest Jones, kind of a young linebacker that looks like he's probably going to play a whole lot this season. The Rams really didn't start too many linebackers last year. It was kind of a safety-heavy team with Josh Johnson. He leaves, but the Rams drafted two safeties last year that actually started last season, and that's why the Rams said, you know what, let's go ahead and just let Josh Johnson go, and Leonard Floyd comes back. I'm not a huge fan of Leonard Floyd, though, because if Aaron Donald's not there, he just seems to kind of disappear. I mean, Aaron Donald gets triple team, double team. I mean, there was a game against the Dolphins where the entire offensive line seemed like they were just blocking him. But no, I think the team come back with Matthew Stafford. Listen, I tried Jared Goff. I tried to get into it. I just tried. And when you really thought he was going to turn, he would have a game against the Jets or the Dolphins and just explode. But I think Matthew Stafford, man, listen, he can throw the football. He can do no looks. He's been doing it way before Pat Mahomes was. And Stafford brings that guy who can make any throw. He can move the pocket. He can use his eyes. Just the entire package. With Jared Goff, fortunately, just wasn't the case. So I think this is the team that comes together. Now, Cam Akers going down. It's a pretty big blow. I mean, this is a guy that came on pretty big last season. You lose him. Henderson I love, but he gets nicked up. So the Rams may do what the 49ers tend to do a lot, is just use the hot hand back from week to week and see who can kind of get going. They haven't Xavier Jones back there, probably in second string. We'll kind of wait and see. But I think Sean McVay's pumped. I mean, he's been kind of googly-eyed all preseason and also during the offseason. So this is a team I think can definitely beat Tampa Bay. If they could beat all the teams, it's going to come down to quarterback play. Can Matthew Stafford take that next step? Because he's been in Detroit, and that damn asylum over there. Now he's kind of in the forefront. I'm hoping he doesn't, explode to the point where he just is a disaster. But I think Stafford's the truth. I think this team can make a big run. Obviously, you have to stay healthy. But I think overall, it's going to be a pretty good team.
So, Matthew Stafford, what college did he go to?
Well, okay, so
of course.
So we know he went to the University of Georgia, all right? Todd Gurley and AJ Jeremiah Green and some of the top dogs there. He did go to Georgia. He was good at Georgia, a little bit of a gunslinger, and he kind of has that mentality. But watching his highlight film and some of the throws that he makes, man, like Jared Goff could not make those throws. And as you guys find out, Sean McVay and Jared they couldn't be in the same room. I mean,
I leaked it.
They essentially, when it blows to the point where we're going to start John Wolford, they were okay with starting John Wolford, which he presented a totally different style scheme.
In a playoff game, they wanted to do that.
In a playoff game, and John, remember, he beat the Cardinals, played fairly well, had that first pick six, the first play of the game, kind of get out of his system. But it just didn't work with Jared Goff. The Rams paid all that money. And the fact that they traded that gave the Eagles like, hey, we can probably move him too. And the Eagles ended up trading him. The Jalen Hurts era now begins with the Eagles. But I think the Rams have a good opportunity. It's going to be tough, though, early on. They have a tough schedule those first few weeks. So we're going to learn a lot about them. They got Tampa Bay, got the Colts, some pretty good playoff teams. But we got to beat Tampa when it really matters most if we get to the playoffs, because I can't see my team lose to Tom Brady for a third time. It was just get me over the hump, man. Come on. I can't have Tom Brady also win again. It's just
the funny thing about that, I mean, this whole thing started 20 years ago with Tom Brady beating the Rams for his first Super Bowl. So, and A-Rod's a Jets fan, so he's been dealing with Tom Brady his whole life.
I hate Jets, man.
If you want any secrets how to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, come to Philly. We were successful one out of two times that we played him. So,
man, Nick Foles played the game of his life.
And guess what? He's a third string in Chicago now.
And he hasn't done nothing since.
So with the Rams, Matthew Stafford, is he the guy? He should be, right? So you look at the Detroit history. He's the one that finally got away. My favorite running back of all time, Barry Sanders, got trapped there, and he said, "I'm done. I'm retiring." Calvin Johnson just got inducted to the Hall of Fame first ballot. He retired prematurely, and I thought Matthew Stafford was kind of headed on that path too. So you got to Sean McVay. God bless him for freeing him from the depths of hell in
because they try to go after Aaron Rodgers, but the Packers
common sense, no,
we don't. So we said, hey, and Stafford's contract's fairly kind of friendly at this point in his career.
Yeah.
So
like common sense says, go ask somebody from the north to come live in California for a little bit. I mean, that's beautiful. So, Matthew Stafford, he's had 45,000 yards, 282 touchdowns, 144 interceptions. Great, right? But he's 74-90 and 1 overall. So, there's a lot of quarterbacks who have been asked to overcome a lot. They have the talent to do it. I don't think Matthew Stafford's ever overcame what he should have over. I mean, Detroit is a horrible place to play, but so is Cleveland. And, Baker Mayfield somehow has overcome that. But obviously a lot of that's organizational.
That team has been built.
It's organizational. Like they had Jim Caldwell and then they fired him for absolutely no reason. So, and now they got A-Rod's favorite coach, Dan Campbell. And We're gonna see.
Well, you know, he's over there breaking kneecaps every week, so
We're gonna see how that
Catch a
experiment
felony,
works.
catch a felony, get a contract. That's what they're going for over there.
but he's kind of odd though when he's talking on the pod. It's just like he's like talking like rhymes and riddles, like the Riddler. He's like, I'm like,
Bro,
what is this guy talking about, bro?
the way he orders his coffee is strange already, man. So when I heard that shit, I was like, I'd rather watch
Listen, guys,
I'd rather watch Fox News than this. So I'll put this on instead. I want to laugh at shit.
it's prescription drugs, guys. It's just, that's the age we live in. So don't worry about them. But anyway, I just need Matthew Stafford to prove it to me that he could lead a team to past, he's been to the playoff, what, 3 times maybe?
Yeah, but that Dallas one, they probably should have won that game. I think it was a controversial call at the end of that game.
Yeah, I agree, but shoulda, woulda, coulda, never cut it here. So I got to see him do it. But what I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and all these different channels and stuff, and they're saying the Rams have had an amazing camp. Like everyone's like foaming at the mouth, like, wow, the Rams, this could be the year. And I see that, but Cam Akers getting hurt, that's tough. That's gonna be tough to overcome.
Yeah, no, that's a tough division. I mean, from top to bottom, the Cardinals.
That division, oh my God. And then the schedule too. The schedule is tough. The division is tough. The defense is going to be great as usual. Aaron Donald's probably going to win another DPOY. Jalen Ramsey is the best corner in the game. Darius Williams was one of the high. I think he was the highest graded corner last year. And then your receiving core is obviously great. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Deshaun Jackson might play 4 or 5 games, but in those 4 or 5 games, he'll probably have like 400 yards. So
I know he can get deep because he had that scrimmage against the Cowboys and he got deep.
Exactly. That's what he's going to do. He's going to get deep. Tutu Atwell is going to be big, but I think Van Jefferson is going to be the key.
Yeah.
I hope he can get going because there's so many now mouths to feed in this offense. I'm kind of worried that he might, but he's a pretty good route runner, just like his dad. So I hope Stafford's going to find these guys, man.
What round would you draft Matt Stafford in fantasy?
Oof. So, he obviously doesn't bring any leg value, right? So he's not scoring touchdowns with his legs. So you kind of have to dip him down. But
with no running game too.
With no running game as well. So he's going to sling it around. I'm thinking off the board, he's probably the 10th or 11th, 12th quarterback. So you're thinking really in those late rounds.
Okay.
For Matthew Stafford. I think we'll have a good year. It's just, to me, I love those running / throwing quarterbacks because they'll dominate these leagues. But with the extra game, he could throw for 5,000 yards. It's possible.
It's very possible. Very possible. We'll see. Well, A-Rod, what you got on the Rams?
Yeah, man, I really like the Matthew Stafford trade. Like, one, it's just the end of a saga of Goff being there and trying to hit on McVay's girlfriend and all that shit.
That's so old, man.
but it's funny, man. Like when I read that shit on Twitter, I was pissing my pants. I was like, yo,
it trended again this past summer, but I remember that a few years ago. I believe that was kind of a thing.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
That was from what I was reading on Twitter and like all the Rams beat writers and stuff. They were saying that him and McVay were always head to head. And that he was sending personal texts to other players talking about how he would give it to McVay's girlfriend. And McVay was finally like, I've had enough of this shit. Like, I'm like 4 years older than you. Like, you're out of here, bro. So it's crazy that you can be a number 1 pick, Mr. California, and now you're in Detroit. So enjoy the gloomy weather. Enjoy sucking over there.
Good luck with Dan Campbell.
Coach. Yeah, who probably get you a felony before you get a Super Bowl. So, but I really like the Matthew Stafford signing. You can't put a lot of blame on him because the teams he had in Detroit, he had good defenses there, but they also took it away very, very quick. Like, there's no reason they should have signed Sue. They let Sue go, and then they got Ansa, and they let Ansa go. Then they got the kid from Auburn, let the kid from Auburn go. And they let all these good defensive players go. So there's just been a revolving door of players they draft. They keep them for 3 or 4 years, and then they're gone. They never build up the defense. They always try and give him offense, and defense is going to win you championships. So now he's got arguably 2 of the best defensive players in football on one team. And the only thing that scares me about that is, like, I feel like the Rams could have addressed that a little bit better. And even the running back position. I know youth and running backs and bringing the next guy up. And there's always like a swing for the fence type of player that comes out of nowhere and just balls out. And I'm sure that'll happen with them. But I feel like you could have retained Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Brown knows the offense. He's a pretty good plug-in running back. I mean, when I had him on fantasy, and I'm just looking at fantasy numbers, he was putting up crazy 2-touchdown games and, at least 80 yards rushing. Like, you're not going to go bitch at a guy and be like, you got 2 touchdowns, you couldn't get 100 fucking yards from me, man. Like 80 yards is good enough. So that's pretty solid. And they let him go to the Dolphins. I feel like you could have retained him. And Michael Brockers, man, like that's a good piece of the D-line gone, but
he's good. But to be honest with you, when you only get 1 sack and you got Aaron Donald on your team, and I get it, right? He's more of a run stopper, but watching him play, we should have got more production because Aaron's getting triple team. You're getting 1-on-1, and you can't beat that.
I was going to say that I get the move because he wasn't producing like where he was drafted and what they expected out of him. I just feel like there was good chemistry with him.
Team. Yeah, it was.
And I feel like that's a guy you could retain for not too much, but obviously Detroit's like, come get the bag and suck it up with us, man. So, you're gonna have to produce talent out of the young kids, and I think if anyone could do it, it's the Rams. They do it all the time with a lot of young talent. They draft young, they get players that are young and undervalued with teams, kind of like my favorite wide receiver Woods that's out there. Like I keep saying he's one of the best wide receivers in football. He's just played for the Bills when they sucked, and now he's with the Rams now. I think Matthew Stafford have a solid receiver again with him, or another solid receiver, and he can turn him into a really, really, I'm maybe throwing it behind him, the top 10 receiver in the league, but I just really like the guy a lot. So I like the moves the Rams made. I feel like they could have retained Brown, maybe got some more defense, but we'll see, man. But you want to get predictions on records now?
Yeah, let's do that. What you got, Gio?
All right. So my prediction record for them, even though with losing a lot of things, I'm gonna put him at 10-7. I like that number with Stafford. I think Stafford is a big game changer. He's more vocal. Jared Goff just looked he didn't have it, so I put him 10-7. I'm really excited to see them play this year.
What you got, Gio?
I'm gonna go with 11-6. I think they get 1 extra game. I think this team, they feel that pressure. Like, hey, like we could be a Super Bowl team. Let's come together. There's going to be some down points during the season, but I think overall, Sean McVay, he's proven that he's a pretty good coach and he can get it enough from a team. If he got 10 wins from Jared Goff last year, I think he can get an extra win from Matthew Stafford. So I'm going with 11-6 with a very tough division. Everyone's going to be beating each other up. So
exactly,
I'm going to go with 11 wins.
Yeah, I actually have it 11-6 as well. It's basically the same thing you just said. If Goff can get him there, there's no reason why Matthew Stafford can't get that extra win. But, I always go game by game, look at the schedule because it's so easy to just put out a number. The schedule is tough. That schedule is tough. That division is tough. And then losing Cam Akers is tough for me, like just to fathom. Like you lose your best running back. But, 11 the way it's weird because 11-6 to me is like, it's like a good season. It's not like an amazing historic season. But 11-6 for the Rams is still, to me, they can still win the Super Bowl. Like, I look at all the teams that could beat the Bucs, and in the NFC, the Rams are definitely one of them that can get them in a playoff game. The Rams are definitely one of those teams that can definitely,
listen, even the Washington football team gave the Bucs all they could handle
with Heineken,
with little Heineken back there. So the Bucs will always be a tough out because they got number 12.
Of course, yeah. But 11-6. That's why I got it.
They have God on their side, so we expect, man. All right, let's go. I actually have this division very, very like close on records. I have it's one of the toughest divisions in football this year. So let's go to one of your rivals. Let's go, my boy behind me, Mr. I just got it back.
Can't even cover.
My favorite safety in football. I'm glad he's out of New York and actually winning. So Seahawks, key additions. They re-signed the greatest quarterback the Jets took in the second round, Mr. Geno Smith. Wanted to throw that one out there. Fuck you, Geno Smith. They re-signed Chris Carson. They got Gerald Everett from you guys. Traded to get Gabe Jackson. Resigned Cedric. Insert.
Bouye.
There you go. That's why I got my Nigerian co-host to say these for me. Resigned Carlos Dunlap. Resigned Robert.
Kamdichi.
There we go.
Right.
Cornerback Demarius Randall and cornerback Akila Witherspoon. Now, key departures, running back Carlos Hyde, can't stay off the weed, Josh Gordon, David Moore, Greg Olson's retired, Mike Iupati's retired, Chance Warmack is gone, Shaquem Griffin is gone, Bruce Irvin is gone, KJ Wright is gone, Quentin Dunbar is gone, and Shaquille Griffin is gone. Now the draft picks, they also
got gutted.
Late.
They got that defense gonna be looking real spooky.
Yeah, their draft picks though, they went pretty late too. They got Dwayne Eskridge, who's a wide receiver, and cornerback Trey Brown. I like that they paid Jamal Adams. I'm happy he's paid. I'm happy he's the highest paid safety, but is it enough? Somebody go.
No. I'll take it real quick because, man. So I'm such a big Russell Wilson fan, and I just feel so bad for him because I know he wants to get out of there. Like he does not want to be. Like Sierra does not want to be there no more, and there's no reason for Russell Wilson to want to be there. But his boy got paid today. You know, $72 million over 4 years. So, you know, good for Jamal. They still got to figure out Dwayne Brown's contract. He's 35 years old now. It's not like it's impossible to play till your late 30s as a offensive lineman. I just seen Jason Peters get signed with the Bears. Eagles own Jason Peters, and then you guys, the Rams. You guys had that. What's his name?
Whitworth.
Yeah, like he was 39.
Yeah, I mean he's creeping up there in age.
Exactly. So it's like it's not impossible. But they've had a suspect offensive line the whole time he's been there. And you're relying on a contract holdout from a 35-year-old who's your best offensive lineman. And like Pro Football Focus has him like the 19th best offensive line. So Russell Wilson, again, is going to be running for his life. He wants to be more involved in the offense as far as like throwing the ball. He doesn't want to just run. So that little rift between him and Pete Carroll, that they seem fine, but Pete wants to run the ball and Russell wants to sling the ball. So there's an identity thing that's going on over there as well. Now the offense is going to be fine. Outside the offensive line, you got DK Metcalf, you got Lockett. The kid they drafted, Eskridge, he's a sprinter. So they got speed. They're gonna have speed on the field. They have the Gerald Everett, who I like a lot from the Rams. And then Will Dissly is a good player as well. So offensively, I think they're going to be fine. Chris Carson obviously is a great running back. Rashad Penny is a good backup. So they're gonna do fine. But how much punishment is Russell Wilson going to take? I don't know what's going on there. And then defensively, as we just mentioned, obviously they got
Aldon Smith isn't coming back either.
Oh yeah, and then they released Aldon Smith as well. I forgot about that. So. They got gutted defensively. I mean, but they got some mainstays over there as well. But they gotta have to deal with the Rams offense, the 49ers speed, and then all the weapons that Arizona has for 6 games out of the year on top of the rest of the schedule that they have. So I'm a little concerned for Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, guys, I think it's the same. I think the offense is going to be good. I mean, they got Gabe Jackson from the Raiders, a pretty good run block, but the offense, remember, with Schottenheimer, he gets basically fired, right? I mean, he's not the offensive coordinator. They go get the Rams passing game coordinator and Shane Waldron to come in, I guess put some fresh take.
Russ was happy about it.
He was happy. So, I mean, if Shane's going to run what some of the Rams do, a lot of movement, a lot of guys kind of going a different direction, a lot of window dressing, right? So I think they'll be fine on offense. They're going to put up points, but that defense, it's been gutted. Listen, they got Adams there. You got Wagner. He's a great linebacker, but
of course, yeah.
The defense had struggled last season a lot. It's going to happen again. I think Russell's going to win you games, but they're going to have to also play ball control and run the football. And I think Chris Carson, when he's healthy, because, he's been nicked up a bit, when healthy, he's a really good running back.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think you need to also be smart ball control, because if you're just trying to go into these shootouts with that defense, good luck, man, because as good as Adams is, he's a little suspect at times in pass coverage. So,
yeah.
Play at that. Last year he was pretty sus, yeah, but he took off in the second half.
Yeah, so that defense is probably the biggest thing. Can they just keep it together enough to get to 10, 11 wins? Because I don't think 9 wins will be enough to get to the playoffs, at least this season.
Yeah, 9-8 is not going to cut it this year.
Yeah, everything they did on offense, I like trading to get Gabe Jackson. We'll get to Chucky, and I don't know what's up with him and his offensive lineman. He hates them all, but likes the racist guy. But anyways, sign all the good offensive guys to keep protection on Wilson. We'll see Wilson do his thing and run a lot. Obviously, he's gonna play that. I like getting Carlos Dunlap. I like the gamble on the Ole Miss kid, the defensive tackle. Demarius Randall, bring him back, and then the kid from the 49ers, Witherspoon. There was a lot of high praise on him and his play there. So when they gutted the Legion of Boom, everyone's like, oh, their defense isn't going to be that good. Well, they got Davion Clowney, who was subpar, and they didn't have that bad of a defense. So I kind of have faith in their defense that Pete Carroll knows what he's doing. He's always been defensive minded and a run heavy type of guy. So I got faith in it. I think they'll bring back KJ Wright too. I think like they're just feeling it out for his market. And when it's coming closer to the start of the season, they'll be like, hey, the offense. Here's a quick 1 year. You want to come make some money and run it back. I'm pretty sure they'll bring him back. But Carlos Hyde's expendable. Gordon is expendable, more expendable, and everybody else, I feel like they're really all expendable.
They'll bring back Josh Gordon. Russell Wilson at some point will be like, all right, please go get me this old,
Bro, he looked like he got like a refrigerator on his back when he run. Like, bro, you are not got that speed no more.
He's not the same.
I think Josh Gordon is done, man. Like, that's a headache. You've got 2 young guys that are good. You went and got this other kid who's supposed to be – you drafted him for a reason, even though I don't think he's going to play as much. And then you've got Gerald Everett, who was the number 1 for you guys, and then kind of fizzled away to a 2 tight end with
Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, Higbee. White is right, man. They just love them white boy tight ends, man.
I will say Tyler's a better player than
Tyler Higbee is a better
Everett.
player than
he's a better player than Everett.
Yeah,
but I mean, Everett was all right for us. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, they both were. I feel like they were both pretty good tight ends, and you can make one expendable, understandable, unless you're the Patriots. You need like 5 good tight ends on your team for the Bucs. So I'm not hating all the moves. Could they have went and got some more appealing defensive players? Yeah, I think so. There was talks of them getting Richard Sherman again, and obviously Richard Sherman wants to go to his old lady's house and scream it up in the middle of the night in a nice white neighborhood, and the rest is history. Now you got some counseling to do. So there's a headache and a half there. Yeah, man, I'm still okay with everything there. The real thing to me is Russ in it to win it. That's what I want to know. Like, is he really mentally there, or Sierra every day like, yo, I'm trying to get out of here? Like,
yeah, it was a nice place.
I make more money than you. Like, I'm get out of here. Like, I'm trying to go make some money. Go to Chicago. Go to New York. Go Miami. Go
Giants, man. The Giants.
That's scary. I'm scared. I am terrified.
Don't say that.
Terrified of that prospect.
I think the Bears found their guy. It's really looking like it.
They did.
At least for right now. You don't never know.
No, they did. I think they finally got their guy. So
yeah, he looks really good. But I'm putting him at a record 11-6. That's what I'm gonna put him at.
Oh, okay. I got 10-7.
I got damn Gio. I got 10-7 as well.
Even that defense is bad. I still think Russ
is an MVP candidate every year for a reason. Even though he's never received an MVP vote, which is horrendous, by whomever is allowed to vote for this thing. That is terrible. Russell Wilson at some point deserves an MVP vote, but I got him 10-7 because I think he's definitely worth. It's like the win above replacement thing that baseball does. He's worth 10 wins, so definitely.
All right, let's go 49ers.
Tough.
Man. Oof.
Tough.
It's a tough one. This is a lot of players in and out here, and they have a new shiny quarterback who should be starting, I guess. I don't know, but they got this guy Garoppolo, and it's all smoke and mirrors until something really happens. So key additions, you got have a million running backs on the team. Running back Wayne Gallman, you add him from the Giants, who had a pretty sneaky good year last year with them. They re-signed their fullback Kyle, insert Polish name there. Wide receiver Mohamed Sanu, wide receiver of the past Beanie Fowler, who can't stop smoking pot too. Converted tight end and former probably seventh favorite Eagle of all time, Mr. Jordan Matthews. He's buying into being a tight end now. I don't see it, but okay.
I mean, he's big, but I don't think he's that.
He's not that big.
Yeah, he's not that big.
Let's not focus on Jordan Matthews. He's getting cut week 1. So offensive tackle Trent Williams is re-signed. Center Alex Mack, defensive end Arden Key, linebacker Michael Kendricks, fresh off the insider trading. They re-signed Jason Verrett. They re-signed Kwan Williams. They got safety Tony Jefferson. They re-signed Tart. I don't want to even butcher his name. Safety Tavon Wilson, and they went and got Clinton Dix just recently too.
I love that pickup.
That guy should have a job every year. Key departures. They lost both of their quarterbacks. They got some playing time when the Garoppolo era was down for a bit.
You know who they replaced him with, right?
Who?
You know what jersey I tell you I wanted to buy at the end of the Eagles?
Oh, your boy, the backup for the Eagles, Sudfield. Yeah. I meant to put that in there as a joke, but I was like, I can skip that.
Nate Sudfield's the truth.
All right, so CJ Beathard is gone. Nick Mullins is gone. Running back Tevin Coleman, I guess. Thank you. Running back Jarek McKinnon is gone. Wide receiver Kevin Bourne. Wide receiver Marquise Goodwin. Jordan Reed said, finally, these bone spurs is kicking in. I'm done. I'm retiring. Defensive end Ezekiel Ansah, defensive end Ronald Blair, defensive end Solomon Thomas, cornerback Richard Thomas, and then Akilo Witherspoon are all gone. Now the draft picks are kind of appealing. Trey Lance, guard Aaron Banks, running back Trey Sermon, and cornerback Ambry Thomas are all the ones that I have highlighted as far as draft picks for them. So what's this? This is a whole new look team, man. Like there's little pieces still there, but I feel like it's a whole new lay of the land of everything that's there. So whoever hates the 49ers more, go.
Well, that's probably going to be me. I don't really care much for the 49ers. This is kind of an interesting team. They had so many guys coming in, coming out. Salah's gone. He's like the Jared Goff killer. Every time we played him, we just
love him. I love him.
Never do anything.
Mashallah.
D'Amico Ryans is now the defensive coordinator there. That defense didn't do too well in certain spots. I assume coming back healthy with Nick Bosa and some other defensive players, I think they can make it work. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't love him. He's kind of injury prone and he turns the ball over. I think we're going to see Trey Lance eventually, sometime during the season. I think Jimmy Mike says, you know what, man?
Do you think more so for injury or more so for play?
I think it's going to be probably for injury. Jimmy always gets hurt at the time. It's just every year it just seems like he's been hurt. And then the running back situation there, Raheem Mostert, he's another one. Dude's always hurt.
Always.
But I will give him the coach credit. They rotate guys that run. I mean, Jeff Wilson had like a 3-touchdown game, one game for me in fantasy that I started. So it's like they're starting a ton of backs. This team's kind of a wild card. I'm not really sure what to expect from them. They got talent on, Brandon Ayuk's a really good receiver. Deebo Samuel, but he's also another guy always in the medical tent. He's always hurt. So I think the health of this team is going to be very important. And Jimmy Garoppolo, where's his head at, right? Because we know these coaches lie all the time. It's like, oh, yeah, Jimmy's our guy. Oh, yeah, okay.
Blowing
smoke, right? So I don't know what to make of this team. They're going to be a good team, I assume, because they got some pretty good players coming back. But for like a win total, I'm not even sure where they're going to land, really.
So the 49ers, man, they got good things going for them. Now, as far as the situation between Trey Lance and Garoppolo, Trey Lance. Now, did you guys all watch the preseason game? See some of his throws and stuff.
Yeah, put it right.
So I know if you look at the stats, they don't jump out to the screen as far as like his completion percentage, but there were a lot of key drops in that game that I saw. So he puts it right on the money. Mind you, we got to keep in mind, Trey Lance hasn't played football in 2 years, so we're asking a lot from somebody from a small college who has, smaller compared to the bigger, SEC teams and stuff like that. You're asking the guy from a smaller college to start week one. That's not possible. I just don't see it. It's not, no. So, yeah, this is Garoppolo's team from now. However, the way Kyle Shanahan is, he's gonna love him some Trey Lance, right? So he's gonna put a lot of his energy and effort into make sure that Trey Lance is eventually ready. And I'm seeing this as what the 49ers had about 10 years ago when they had Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. And it's gonna be one of those things in which, look, we got the guy and we got the guy already, and we already know your ceiling, Alex Smith. Your ceiling is here, and the moment there's a little from the crowd, we want Trey, then I think you'll see like in the second half of a Monday Night Football game, Trey Lance is gonna jog onto that football field, probably like a week 10 or 11 or something, and that's when you'll probably see him if you do see him this year. Now the thing about Garoppolo, I mean, just like Jared Goff, and it's crazy, I've been looking at a lot of quarterbacks over the last 10 years, and all the quarterbacks who are not on the same team that they started off with is insane. So, Goff is gone, Carson Wentz is gone, and then like Garoppolo has been in New England, and now he's over here in San Fran. He's got somebody already about to take his job. And long story short, though, he was in the Super Bowl just a couple years ago, just like Jared Goff was just in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and it's like, just like Nick Foles just won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. It's like, what does the Super Bowl even buy you anymore? Like, it doesn't give you anything.
It's what have you done for me lately?
Exactly. And yes, he gets hurt. Absolutely, he gets hurt. Is he the greatest decision making of all time? No. But to me, Jimmy Garoppolo is not terrible. Okay, like he's good enough. Just like I say, Russell is going to get you 10. He's good enough to get you a couple wins. And that defense is solid enough to get you a lot more wins. And in that running game, revolving door, Trey Sermon that just got from Ohio State, which I love. I hate Ohio State, and I'll tell you right now, Trey Sermon is a dog. And Kyle Juszczyk, how you say his name? He's a solid fullback.
He can block, man. That boy can block.
Exactly. And then Wayne Gallman filled in nicely for Saquon last year. So they're going to run the football. They have a top 10 offensive line. The defense is going to be solid. They have weapons. Okay, now Brandon Ayuk is going to be solid. Debo, if he can stay upright, is going to be solid. So I love the HaHa Clinton-Dix pickup as well. I think that's going to just a nice security blanket just to have back there as well. And then Mohamed Sanu, we'll see if he makes the team, but it's just.
I didn't even know he was on the team.
Yeah, he's been in their camp, so. There's a possibility. I don't hate the 49ers, and I think they're going to, like I said, if there's teams that can beat the Bucks, the 49ers, just like the Rams, are another one that can challenge them. Simply because I think Kyle Shanahan has enough common sense to know, like, we're just gonna run the piss out of this football. We're gonna kind of like Ryan Tannehill with the Titans. We're gonna feed the beast, and in the 49ers case, we're gonna feed all these guys. And then we're going to play action. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But because their defense is so good with Bosa, hopefully, not hopefully for me, but hopefully for the Rams. I mean, for the 49ers, he's healthy. I do think Sherman, I don't know what's going on with Sherman's situation. He may return. I don't know if he's going to, I don't know what's going on there, but I think that this team has a lot of promise and a lot of hope. And then they're a well-ran organization, they got, and then Kyle Shanahan's a good coach. So I'm not low on them at all. I think I'll just give the record now. I'm between 11. I'm gonna just do it. A-Rod. I'm gonna just do it. I'm between 11 and 12 wins. Yes, I am.
That's kind of high.
I don't want to put them over the Rams though. I think they're so I already have the Rams at 11. So if I give the 49ers 12, that means I got to give the Rams another win. So I'm gonna just keep them at 11. But don't be surprised if they go 12-5.
I'm going with 9-8. I think the running game is going to be really good. That offensive line, listen, Trent Williams and those, they're really good. They got Alex Mack from the Falcons. I think the running game is going to be just enough to get you. But I'm going to go with 9-8 on the season. I think
if you see Trey Lance earlier, then maybe that. Because that means they've already given up on the season. So Trey Lance how old is he? 20, 21? Like, he hasn't played football in 2 years. This is not like
no, I know.
normal.
Yeah. So Trey, I'm thinking towards the end of the season, if the 49ers like, you know what, it's probably going to be a lost season at this point, let's put him in. But I'm going to go with 9-8. I think the running game is going to be really good and just enough to beat some teams that they're probably not supposed to beat. But
How do you win football in December? You run the football and then you play defense.
They
got the formula.
The year they went to the Super Bowl, I mean, we saw what they did to the Packers. I mean, they
playoff game.
They ran that team off the field.
How many pass attempts did Garoppolo have? 8.
Those lanes, I could run through there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so when that offensive line is running, that's a team that does fear me because he's just very creative with that running game. And when they get going and they do a ton of different formations, they throw a lot at you. It can be pretty tough to beat.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, man. So I like all the moves they made. You know, they thought they had the best two-headed monster scheme in running backs with Tevin Coleman and Jerick McKinnon, and then McKinnon tore his shit 2 years in a row, and they were like, "Hey, man, we're good," you know. And then Tevin Coleman was easy expendable when Mostert took on, and then Jeff Wilson did well, and now you have Trey Sermon putting on a show in the preseason. So you may have a bell cow back right there in Trey Sermon because, like you said, Mostert's always hurt. The wide receivers, they just got rid of a bunch of disgruntled guys who were there that were used to be the focal point and then just kind of fizzled out. So you got rid of those guys. You bring in Mohamed Sanu, who knows his role. He's old. Beanie Fowler, as long as you can get him like not smoking weed, you'll be straight. And then the other guys, if they're healthy, they're good. The only thing I don't like that they did was getting rid of Solomon Thomas. I think Solomon Thomas is a really, really good DN, but you're taking a gamble on Arden Key. So he was a 2nd-round pick, I believe, out of LSU, projected to go 1. He went to the Raiders and didn't produce like that, but I think they can get some stuff out of him. And the secondary is ridiculous, just looking at it. And then you got Michael Kendricks in there, who's a Super Bowl winner. Also did, I think, like 12 days in jail for insider trading. So that's kind of scary to have right there.
About them Eagles, man.
Yeah, man. Scary right there. My biggest fear with them is the quarterback situation. It's going to be like an up and down roller coaster. I feel like Garoppolo is going to be like always a headache there. And then they're going to be getting the Trey Lance, chance and all of that. And that's going to be the part that's kind of like shaky. Like, do we want to put him in? Do we not want to put him in? Is this something that we want to just give up on Garoppolo? Do we want to move him? What do we want to do? So I feel like not knowing that right out of the gate is going to be fucking with their head a lot. And I actually have them at 9-8 as well. That's where I have, only because of the uncertainty at the quarterback position. The running back position, one guy goes down. Well, hey, it's your turn. And this guy Sermon looks like he's ready to go. And in the top and the wide receivers, they always suck. They have the best tight end in football, one of the best tight ends in football. So like that guy's going to eat all day. If the wide receivers get you 50 yards out of all 5 or 6 of them, like it's a good enough day for you. Running back and the tight end are going to shine on that offense. So 9-8 is what I have them at. Let's go to the last team in the division. They're definitely made a lot of headline moves in the last 2 seasons. They got some big name players on the team, and they're poised hopefully for a jump. We'll see. So the Arizona Cardinals add quarterback journeyman Colt McCoy now to be the backup. They get running back James Conner, wide receiver AJ Green, who's a Bulldog. They re-signed offensive tackle Kelvin Beachum, offensive lineman Max Garcia. They traded to get Rodney Hudson from the Raiders.
Love that pickup.
It's a great pickup. They got defensive end, or they re-signed. No, they signed defensive end Marcus Golden, J.J. Watt, cornerback Darquez Denard. They went and got Super Bowl interception, which I still think is staged, cornerback Malcolm Butler. And they got a really good kicker. And I always try to say that kickers are valuable. And you went and got Matt Prater, who's a very, very good kicker. So tip of the hat to you there. Now your departures, you lost Brett Hundley, the quarterback. Who cares? Running back Kenyon Drake, who was just coming on to his scene. Wide receiver and longtime Arizona Cardinal Larry Fitzgerald doesn't have a contract.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Not to cut you off, but I'm very curious what's going to go on there.
Me too.
Yeah, there's not much information. There's not much going on there.
Nothing's there's no, yeah.
Tight end Dan Arnold, who was starting to get rapport with Murray, is gone. Offensive guard J.R. Sweezy, linebacker Hassan Reddick signed a big contract. Pretty much, yeah, lifer cornerback Patrick Peterson is now a Minnesota Viking. Cornerback Drake Kirkpatrick and cornerback Jonathan Joseph are gone. Now the draft picks, linebacker Zaven Collins, wide receiver Rondell Moore, and cornerback Marco Wilson. So this is a team that definitely has a lot of weapons. Looking at it, a lot of these guys that they signed are a little bit older. AJ Green, JJ Watt, Malcolm Butler, Kelvin Beachum. Kickers, you can be 40 and still play this game. So I'm not looking at Matt Prater really. Do you think that these signings and everything that the Cardinals are doing are good look for them?
I think so. I think the Cardinals, we saw what they could do last season. Then it just kind of just fell apart at the end of the year. But this team made some pretty good improvement. I mean, AJ Green, listen, he's not the AJ Green of the past. He's dealt with injuries. So he's going to be a very good player on a team that already has one of the best receivers in the league. So AJ doesn't have to be the guy. So I think that would be a pretty good role for him. And JJ Watt, I mean, listen, I hope they don't start this guy like every single down. Like he's not that guy anymore. Yeah. He's more of a rotational player. But I think this team is just right there. And it's all going to be about the quarterback. Can he take that next step? Because we saw last season when he gets in trouble, he just runs around. And at certain times, I saw a game against the Rams where Aaron Donald was just throwing him around like a rag doll. Can he take that next leap? I think he will. I think this team is going to be a pretty good team. That defense is still going to be good. And Zaven Collins, he's played well so far in preseason. He's kind of been showing some pretty good steps. So I think the Cardinals, to me, I think they're a better overall team than the 49ers. And they have a big ceiling, in my opinion, if everything comes together and Murray takes that kind of next step in the process.
And that's where I pick up from where you just left off, is about the ceiling. Now, their ceiling to me is off the charts, okay? I just don't think they're at the ceiling just yet. Now, Kyler Murray, so I'm in a couple of different fantasy leagues. I have a fantasy league that I do 3 keepers. Kyler Murray is definitely going to be one of my keepers. He's electric. He's short. He's short. We'll call a spade a spade. He's a shorter quarterback. But he's got quick feet. He's going to run for some touchdowns. He's going to pass a touchdown. And he has a lot of options to get the ball to. Now, my favorite player in this draft is Rondell Moore, actually. Rondell Moore is, to me, the most, like, we're going to be, in 5 years from now, we're going to be talking about him like, wow, like how we talk about, like, I wouldn't say like Tyreek Hill, but he's, shorter guy, 5'9", I think 5'9", 5'10", not the heaviest guy, but his unofficial 40 is a 4.29, okay? He's speed. It's like Rondell Moore, I don't know what it is. I'm just a huge fan of his. So I'm watching Arizona Cardinals preseason football, actually. And they got him running out the backfield. They got him just doing sweeps and they're throwing him the ball. He had catches and he, to me, makes Kyler Murray even better, right? Because you got to already worry about what Kyler Murray is going to do back there. Like, he's not going to stay in that pocket. He's going to get outside. Not too many people have the speed or the angle to keep up with Kyler Murray once he gets outside. But if you try to force him inside, he's going to probably have Rondell Moore trying to do a little sweep. He has Hopkins, who doesn't drop anything, to top 3 receiver in the league. You have Chase Edmonds and James Conner, solid running backs. Pittsburgh doesn't know what the hell to do at running back since they lost the Bus and those guys at that time, because James Conner should have been a more featured offense with the Steelers, in my opinion. But I think he'll be fine with Arizona. They're going to be electric offensively. Cliff Kingsbury is, one of those new school guys, kind of like a McVay, where he wants to go out there and score.
Hey, do you think he's on the hot seat though? Do you think this could be the year if they don't get to the playoffs?
Not yet, because that division is. If whoever's running the team, the president, the GM, whoever will make that call, they got to look up in those standings and see Russell Wilson, the 49ers, and the Rams. Like, you have to notice that's real. And that's real. And Kyler Murray is going into his 3rd year now?
Yeah.
So I say they're tied together at the hip because they brought in Cliff Kingsbury to get rid of Josh Rosen. Oh, and I wanted to talk about Josh Rosen earlier. He just got cut again today, by the way. So Josh Rosen, who was a top 10 pick, is now still not on the team. He got replaced by Kyler Murray, and they brought Cliff Kingsbury with them. So to me, those two are attached at the hip, right? So unless they make a decision on Kyler Murray, I think, like, let's say when Kyler Murray's into a contract year, I think then we'll be like, okay, let's reassess Cliff Kingsbury, because it's too much. That division is just, I mean, come on, like
I get it.
That division's crazy, and it's not their fault that they're going to finish what I predict what the record's going to be. But I do love the Zaven Collins draft pick. Budda Baker is amazing. J.J. Watt's going to breathe a lot of life into that defense. They got a lot of speed and ability. It's just, to me, they're still just not right. Like if the Cardinals were in the NFC East, I'd probably pick them to win, but they're not.
If anybody else was in the NFC East,
but they're not. They're not. So because they're in the division that they're in, I'm not. They're not going to finish in the top of the division. I'll put it right there.
I think like they did a lot addressing it. Like they got him more toys. They got Kyler Murray more toys to play with. Definitely, you can see that. I think the defense got a little bit older, but it got more vocal. I feel like there was no like significant vocal point because who's the linebacker defensive end that came from New England?
Is Chandler still there, right? Yeah,
Chandler Jones, who's reportedly wants out of there, but I think if anybody can keep him there would be a J.J. Watt and a Malcolm
That is
Butler.
True. I did hear about that a couple of weeks back or something like that. Yeah.
So I think they can kind of like sway him to stay. But you brought Marcus Golden. I mean, he's a subpar defensive end, but he has some pretty good games in the rotation. I think the defense got older, but I think it got more vocal. I think like these veteran, big name, household names and Malcolm Butler's and the JJ.
Malcolm Butler is vastly overrated. I'm just leaving right there. Okay.
Oh, I think so too. But
the one good play ever in his career and hasn't done nothing since then. So
he's living off of it.
He is.
Everybody knows who Malcolm Butler is. Like they know the man. So
6th round pick Malcolm Butler. All right, I'm done.
I'm not saying I like him. I'm just key highlight on the team. So I think getting those guys there who are vocal, that have won Super Bowls, and I think he's won one too. But like they can say, look, let's stay, let's run it for the city. Blah 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 blah. But they do have a high ceiling. I do like that a lot. They like, what is it, Michael Jordan said, the sky, the ceiling is the floor or whatever.
The ceiling is the roof.
The GOAT.
but yeah, man, there's a lot of expectations for them to do good. And I don't think Cliff Burry's on the hot seat just yet. Like they did a lot to get that guy out of Texas Tech. So
he also had a losing record at Texas Tech.
He did, which
kind of interesting.
That's what privilege buys you, but I'm gonna just leave it there.
Exactly. I don't get it. And they think because he coach Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Mahomes is like, he's gonna turn someone in. I don't buy it.
Hey, Gio, blame McVay for all of that. The league saw McVay and they were like, we got to replicate this.
Listen, when Sean McVay was hired, you should have seen all these people. He doesn't know he's not gonna be a good coach. He's too young, all this and that. And look, Sean, I mean, for granted, listen, he called the plays in Washington for 3 years and they were pretty good offense. But no, I know this Sean McVay effect has.
Look who the Eagles have. We have Nick Sirianni now.
So his first press conference was weird.
Exactly. I know it was weird. Okay, it wasn't Dan Campbell weird, but it was weird. Okay, but that he's not. From what I've seen in camp, he's not terrible. But to me, there's only one Sean McVay. It's like when John Gruden was hot. There was only one John Gruden at that young age.
And John Gruden's still losing.
And he still hasn't done nothing. He's living off that Super Bowl he won 20 years ago.
Look at the Bengals. They hired, Zach Taylor was the quarterback coach.
Yes, exactly.
Never called plays in his life.
But at the same time, it's foolish organizations buying into that. Like, you need to do your homework. Just because a guy is younger than McVay and you think, like, I'd rather a guy that's proven himself time after time, and he can be 62 years old. I don't care. Bring him in. We're gonna look at.
That's what the Texans did.
Exactly.
They got their.
Look at I'm gonna throw baseball in there. Look at Tony La Russa with the White Sox. Like there's a proven winner right there, and that works.
I think the White Sox would have been fine. But
I also let's not get into baseball. Like let's also look at the lay of the land too. It's a very for the most part, it's a very very young team. So having a guy who's like kind of understands everything, I get that too. So it's kind of like that homey feel that McVay has with all of his boys over there. So, they could do very, very well, but I'm going to put them at 9-8. That's the record I'm going to give them.
I got them at 9-8 as well.
I'm going to give them an extra. I'm going 10-7. I think finally
them being better than the 49ers.
I think they take Murray over Jimmy. That's all I'm going to say. But I think this is the year finally Arizona. I think this division gets 3 playoff teams.
I do too.
And I think the Cardinals are the third one. I mean, the 49ers could be that third team too, but I think the Cardinals, they have enough on paper, I think.
You know what's wild? I actually think on paper, I would take the Cardinals over the Seahawks. Only reason why I would take the Seahawks over the Cardinals is because of Russell Wilson. That's literally the only reason. To me, on paper, the Cardinals top to bottom are a way better team than the Seahawks.
Jamal Adams?
From top to, I like Buda Baker.
Yeah.
You remember Buda Baker tracking down who he tracked down last year?
The receiver from the Seahawks, right? Wait, no.
Oh, what? It was Metcalf.
No, but I think Metcalf had the.
Metcalf tracked Buda Baker.
Yeah,
That's what it was. That's what it was. Okay. Damn, never mind. That's why I take the Seahawks over the Cardinals.
All right, let's jump divisions, or let's jump to the AFC now.
This should be easy.
Should be.
It's gonna be real easy on this one.
So let's go to the losing Super Bowl Chiefs. Key additions. They add running back Jerick McKinnon. They're going to take a gamble there. They re-signed wide receiver Demarcus Robinson. Traded to get offensive tackle Orlando Brown, which is good.
Highway robbery.
Kyle Long said, I'm going to come play. So they got him. They signed Joe Thuney in free agency. They signed Taco Charlton. They re-signed Alex Okafor. They traded to get Mike Hughes from the Vikings. Key departures, Le'Veon Bell, who cares? Running back Damian Williams. Wide receiver Sammy Watkins. Offensive tackle and former first-round pick Eric Fisher. Mitchell Schwartz, who was turning it up, gone. Offensive guard Kalishi Osimile. I hope I said that right.
You good.
He's gone. Defensive end Mike Pennell. Linebacker Damian Wilson and cornerback Rashad Breeland are all gone. Now, draft picks, linebacker Nick Bolton, center Creed Humphrey, defensive end Joshua Kando, and tight end Noah Gray out of Duke. So this is a new look because right when free agency started, everyone was like, oh, they got to address the O-line, and they got rid of 3 starters right off the rip. And then commit highway robbery, basically, like KK said. So what do you guys think of this new look offensive line and pretty much the same looking team for the most part?
I mean, I think the offensive line was the reason why the Bucs won the Super Bowl. I know a lot of, me and A-Rod, we've talked to a lot of Bucs people. And they're like, no. The Bucs would have won regardless. Listen, Patrick Mahomes could have been the MVP of that game strictly off of his superhero effort that he tried to do with a decimated offensive line. So, and going into this new season, they're already ranked 7th on Pro Football Focus on offensive line. Joe Thuney's obviously is a dog. Kyle Long is a dog. Orlando Brown, they stole him from Baltimore. How does Baltimore trade somebody within their conference that's that good and that you have to compete with to get to the Super Bowl? To me, that was foolish, but hey, that's on Baltimore for that. The running back situation is always going to be good there with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then Jerick McKinnon to me is a good 2 for that. They got Tyreek Hill, who's going to take the top off the defense no matter what. Kelsey is the best tight end in the league. Demarcus Robinson and Mecole Hardman, they're getting more time with Patrick Mahomes, who's the most talented quarterback in the league. Maybe Aaron Rodgers. I got it between those two. But I mean, to me, it's pretty simple. You know, they just got to take care of business, keep Mahomes upright, and everything will be pretty normal over in Kansas City. That's a team that you go into an off season and you know what your team needs and you know what you need to do for your quarterback, the guy that you're paying all this money for. And they didn't waste any time and they addressed that quickly. Like that is what probably Aaron Rodgers is crying about and Russell Wilson is crying about, and why Tom Brady didn't want to be in New England anymore. It's like, take care of your quarterback. It's pretty simple. They got him a good offensive line. Everything else is going to work itself out because he's Patrick Mahomes. So to me, yeah, it's going to be a good season for the Chiefs again.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing KK just said. I mean, they basically retooled the offensive line. They also got Austin Blythe, the starting center.
Oh, Blythe, yes.
So they also got another guy with a pretty good offensive line last season. So they essentially just restructured the entire one. I think Andy Reid wants to go back to running the football a little bit more. I thought last season they got really pass happy, and I get it. You got Tyreek, you got all these kind of high flyers running down the field. I also hope that Mecole Hardman, shout out former Bulldog, can this finally be the year, man? Because I've been waiting.
He's got to mature.
I'm hoping he can take that big step, because I think if it just doesn't work out, they might just get rid of him at the end of the season.
Can I just really quickly, because you're talking about Andy Reid, as a former Eagle, Andy Reid, I watched Andy Reid basically my whole life. I cheer for Andy Reid wherever he goes, right? The problem with Andy Reid is that he tries to get too cute, okay? Yeah. Which is why, like you said, they're going to go back to running the football, because that's what they need to do. But Andy Reid cannot stop himself sometimes. And you'll see a lot of his disciples are the same way. All these other head coaches that he's put into the NFL, they're the same way. They try to get too cute, and that's what Andy Reid should have 3 Super Bowls by now, but he gets too cute. So that's what. Hopefully he does stick to those guns as far as wanting to run the football, because that's going to obviously open it up for everything, especially with that retooled offensive line. But take it away. My bad. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I think it makes sense. We saw what happened. I mean, they didn't even use Le'Veon Bell. I mean, Le'Veon Bell is like a shell of himself, and the offensive line just couldn't get it. So I'm hoping this season that they commit a little bit more to rushing the football, a little bit more balance. I like the kid they drafted, Cornell Powell, I think from Clemson. I think he's kind of a speedster guy. But, I mean, listen, it's the Chiefs. They're probably going to win 13, 14 games. So, for me, the defense is one of those defenses. It's kind of opportunistic. They're kind of all over the place. They're going to play good some games, and some games they're going to be really bad. So, the defense.
Got the honey badger back there, though.
The defense is whatever. It's all about the offense. I'm going to go right now 13-4 on the season for the Kansas City Chiefs, and they could be right there in it.
I as well has a 13-4 personally. So take it away here, Rob.
I'll talk now and give my predictions. So running backs, Le'Veon Bell, he's just a head case. I'm coming to the conclusion that he's just a pure head case. Because nobody wants him. Nobody wants to sign him. He went from being one of the best to just getting a big bag, and my team suckered in for that. Damian Williams, expendable. Jerick McKinnon, gamble there, but you got 2 solid, good running backs that know the system, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then the other Williams who knows his role. He doesn't.
I think it's Darrell Williams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Damian and Darrell.
Damian's gone. Opted out. Right?
Yeah, Damian's gone, and then I think they still have Darrell. Yeah.
Darrell Williams has been there for 3 years now, but he knows the offense, and he's not saying I need to start type of guy. He knows his role. And I think they got a running back at the end of the draft too, so he could be in the mix for some touches down the line too. But the retooled offensive line is sexy. It looks good. Like you said, Gio, the defense, it's hot and cold, man. Some days they're going to be good. Some days they're going to be bad, but the honey badger's always there. And, people take note of to big contracts that Jamal Adams had. I'm sure, he's got something to say about that coming up soon. So
coming up.
Yeah. So, yeah, 14-3 is what I got him at. It's a no-brainer. You've got everything retained on offense. Everything that they did, people saw the chaos going on in Green Bay, and they were like, let's not do that. Let's keep the guy we got happy. And the best thing to do that is the offensive line. The next team did the same thing. Chargers, they went out and got protection for their quarterback of the future, had a really good rookie year. So key additions, I put Chase Daniel only because he's a good vocal guy to have as a backup quarterback. He's never going to start, but very good vocally, good clipboard holder, good storyteller, blah, 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 blah. They went and got tight end Jared Cook, who produces, and then they got center Corey Linsley, who used to be a Packer.
A great one at that.
Yeah. Key departures, Tyrod Taylor is gone. Tight end Hunter Henry, we didn't want to keep him. Forrest Lamp is gone. Trey Turner, Dan Feeney is gone. Mike Pouncey retired. Defensive end, Melvin Ingram is gone. Linebacker Denzel Perryman, longtime Charger, is gone. Linebacker Nick Vigil is gone. Cornerback Casey Hayward is gone. Now the draft picks, they got offensive tackle Rashawn Slater, cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. I don't want to hear about all these safeties they get because they always get hurt. Wide receiver Josh Palmer and wide receiver Trey McKitty are there now. So it's kind of a new look. They signed a big center. They got a big offensive tackle. Their longtime guy, Mike Pouncey's retired. It's a whole new look offense. It's getting younger. I'm pretty sure they're going to start pushing offensive guys like Keenan Allen out of the picture soon, maybe next year. I think Mike Williams has got one foot out the door too. They said they didn't extend an offer to him. But the defense, in my opinion, got worse. So, I mean, talk about it. Let's talk about the new look Chargers.
Well, they got some good kind of tune up that offensive line. They also got Brian Balaga, I believe, as well, if he can stay healthy. Because last year. So, this is a team with a new first-year head coach, a new first-year coordinators on the offense and defense. But man, that quarterback, I was completely wrong. I thought I wasn't really sold on him.
You weren't sold?
I was sold.
I wasn't.
I thought he was the best quarterback in college. At that time, I'm like, yeah, this dude he's different.
I like Tua, and I still think Tua's going to have a pretty good year. But the Chargers,
we'll get to that next week.
Offensively with Eckler, Keenan Allen. Now, I don't love Jared Cook because he always dropping passes, but he's still a big body nonetheless. Defensively, they still got pieces. You still got Derwin James there. I think this team with first-year coach Staley there with the defense, I'm sure he'll kind of help out that defense who was kind of up and down last season. I'm thinking 9 wins for this team. I think they're going to be competitive. I think they're going to give the Chiefs all they can handle. I still think they're about a year away from probably making a decent playoff run, but I like the additions. I like having a defensive-minded coach. I think the offense should take care of itself. And it's unfortunate because the coach last year kind of started this and he can't see it all the way through now.
The Mark Jackson effect.
Exactly. So, hey, shout out to Mark Jackson. Can we get him a job, please? This dude, he can't even get an interview.
He got blackballed.
He got blackballed bad.
But
the Chargers, I think they'll get to 9 wins. Not enough to get to the playoffs, obviously, but enough to be very competitive in the AFC.
See, so I've had a lot of closet teams in my life, but they alternate. Like couple times it was Steelers, like AFC teams specifically. I've been like a Steelers supporter back in like 15 years ago. I was a Bengals supporter because of Chad Johnson. And then LT, because of LT, I've always like had the Chargers in like my deep in my back pocket as like a team like I like to see be successful. But this Justin Herbert kid, man, like I remember watching him in college a couple of years, and I'm like, man, that dude can be the one. Like you could just look like I knew like I watched Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, Trevor Lawrence is the next Peyton Manning plus this, like I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be that guy. And the same for what I just felt the same way about Herbert, and keeping him in the West Coast was exactly what he needed. Because I feel like if he would have went to any other situation that was not comfortable for him, he would have just kind of fizzled out, and it would have sucked. Because I think he has so much talent. So I think this is a perfect situation. The offensive line is it's pretty average, but I do love them getting Rashawn Slater. I think that was a very, very, very key draft pick for them. And then you got to deal with Bosa and Derwin James. You got Chris Harris. He's he's a he's a pretty good corner. Still in the is he still playing in the slot?
I assume he's.
I don't know what kind of I don't know what
role.
defense they're running in LA, but I gotta look.
It's gonna be it's probably gonna be a 3-4 because that's what Steelers ran last year. So
okay,
I don't know if they were they could have been 4-3 last year. I don't really remember, but yeah.
I gotta look into it. And then Asante Samuel Jr. I love that draft pick. I was when I was doing like pre-draft stuff, I was looking at who we could potentially draft in Philly, and he was somebody who was on my list. So I watched a lot of stuff on him. I'm never too crazy about Florida State, but they give you some corners now. They'll definitely give you some Jalen Ramseys and some stuff. So and some Deion Sanders and stuff. So I was like, okay, this is Asante. I mean, he's just and Asante used to play for the Eagles, so I kind of wanted that legacy thing going on. But so he's going to be solid. But the same way I think about the Chargers, the same way I think about the Cardinals, like their ceiling is high, and they could be like in a couple years, this is going to be Herbert's league, and in a couple years, Kyler Murray could very well be the next thing, but I just think not yet. Just not yet. Yeah. Luckily for the Chargers, the division is not as tough as the Cardinals division, so they're going to buy themselves a lot more opportunities to be successful. But kind of where I literally have them right where you have them. I got them with 9 wins as well because I think they're good, but they're not there yet. They got to just kind of grow up. They got to just grow up a little bit.
Yeah. So looking at it, and my closet team has always been the Chargers, man. I love Phillip Rivers. I love LaDainian Tomlinson and Tony.
Phillip Rivers is my dog.
Vincent Jackson, Lorenzo Neal, Sean Merriman, Sean Phillips,
Antonio Gates.
That entire team was like one of my favorite teams to watch when I was in like college and high school. I think I had like 3 of those jerseys. But I've always been like a supporter of what the Chargers do. They're my backup team, and the Jets suck, so whatever. It's a letdown every year. But the only thing I don't like that they did is they didn't address the defense. I think the defense got worse. And did Derwin James even play last year?
He may have been hurt.
The thing about Derwin is that he's good for like 3 or 4 games a year.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's been nicked up a lot.
But yeah. I think, I don't think he played too much last year. No.
So for this is his 3rd season now. We haven't seen him play that much. So right out the gates, he's a wild card for me. Do I think he's a great player? Yes. But you lost cornerback Casey Hayward, I think he's an all-pro. I'm pretty sure he's an all-pro. But he's gone. Asante Samuel, he's a rookie. He's got a great resume. He's got dad's DNA in him. He's got NFL DNA in him. So like he's good. Can he make that step? I hope so. But all I hear is Derwin James, and I never see this guy play. So
I mean, he's been going at it with Keaton Allen at practice. They've been.
Hey, listen, and you were just talking about Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is still filthy. Okay, like that dude is a filthy route runner. So
he has the feet, the hands, and he just seems to just get open all the time.
That's just another dude that got to stay healthy though.
Well, they brought 2 wide receivers in to possibly look at to take Mike Williams' job, and I think Mike Williams is gonna kind of like try and stay healthy, hopefully, and put up some numbers because I'm a big Mike Williams fan, but he just can't get it going in this offense, and hopefully this can light a fire into his ass and him play better. But the defense doesn't look good. You lost Melvin Ingram, you lost Denzel Perryman, you lost Nick Vigil, you lost Casey Hayward. Those are some big guys that are gone there. I mean, I know Bosa and whatever you think out of James is there, but those 2 guys aren't just going to do it for you. So whatever they put in there and it works, I hope. I got them at 8 and 9, just 1 under it, because I think they can do very, very good. The offense is great, but I think where they're going to lack is the defense is where it's going to hurt them a lot. Let's go to Las Vegas, formerly Oakland. Chucky, half the time of the year, I don't know what this guy is doing. Hopefully this is the year. Year 3 might be something we know, but he made a lot of moves, and they're all kind of sus. So you have a good running back. Let's go get another good running back. We'll get Kenyon Drake. We'll go get wide receiver John Brown, who I feel is a decent.
John Brown, that's my guy.
he's a pretty solid receiver. Willie Snead played with Drew Brees. He played with Jackson. Like he's got some name there, I guess. I don't know. They re-signed Zay Jones. They bring back the racist Richie Incognito. They sign offensive lineman.
Still playing.
I like this one, Ngakoue. They signed defensive end Ngakoue. They re-signed defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins, defensive tackle Quentin Jefferson. Defensive tackle Gerald McCoy seems to be doing well, so he's going to come play over here. I like this signing too. Defensive lineman Solomon Thomas. Casey Hayward is now a Raider and not a Charger. And then Carl Joseph has got to be like old as dirt now, I feel like. So, oh no, it's Jonathan Joseph. But Carl Joseph is whatever. Key departures, Devontae Booker, Nelson Aguilar, Tyrell Williams. Jason Witten finally called it a career. We traded Trent Brown, don't know why. We traded Gabe Jackson, don't know why. And we traded Rodney Hudson, don't know why.
Don't know why.
Don't know why. Defensive end Arden Key is gone. Defensive end Takaris McKinley is gone. Vic Beasley, I didn't even know he was on that team. He's gone. Linebacker Raekwon McMillan, safety Eric Harris, and defensive back LaMarcus Joyner are gone. Now, I think they drafted very well. Offensive tackle Alex Leatherwood. Safety Trayvon Mulrig is there. Defensive end Malcolm Kuntz. And safety Divine Diablo. For all you people who don't speak Spanish, that's devil in Spanish. So it's spelled wrong. I think they had a good draft. I don't know why he wanted to purge an O-line that was a pretty solid O-line. But I mean, the defense looks better, and I think the offense just looks worse, in my opinion. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, you know, they traded away some really good offensive linemen with a team that runs the football pretty heavy in that kind of West Coast power scheme. They did draft. I mean, they got that dude from Alabama, Alex, was it Weatherhead?
Leatherwood, yeah.
So he's kind of a mauler and a brawler and just kind of fits that scheme. I think offensively, Carr played well in certain spots last season, very productive. They got some young receivers kind of waiting in the wings there to kind of explode. Darren Waller, we know what they do all about. He can single-handedly win you a football game. That defense, though, it is so bad. I like what they did though in the offseason. They got some new pieces in there. Can they get it to work though, right? Because just because you sign a bunch of guys don't mean nothing. Mm-hmm. Like it just has to fit the mix. Gus Bradley is there now as defensive coordinator, so we'll see what he can do. But it's all going to be about the defense. Can they hold up? You're playing the Chiefs. You're playing
Herbert
Chargers, right? So can you get enough offensively? They signed Kenyon Drake. I like that signing because Josh Jacobs been kind of taking a big, heavy workload. He's also been nicked up the past few years every now and then. So I like Kenyon Drake, the offensive line, and the receiving core with Ruggs. I think second-year guy Brian Edwards kind of comes in. So I like what they have on offense, but defensively, can they put it together? I don't think defensively it's going to be enough. So in my opinion, the Raiders are probably going to be, I'll give them 8 wins again, 8 and 9.
You're a nice guy.
I think I might be a bit high here because I'm just not sure. John Gruden can't get the defensive play. They've been drafting in the first round forever.
Yeah.
But they just can't get those players. But I think they're going to be able to run the football enough to get to 8 wins. But this is the one prediction where this could be a 6-win team next season.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and simple. Derek Carr, average as they come. John Gruden, living off of one Super Bowl. He has not been successful. His best success to me was on Monday Night Football. Outside of that, Spider-White Banana is not working out in Las Vegas. I do want to go to a Raiders game, though, because I'm trying to go to that stadium. We got the end zone bar. I'm just trying to be out there. The Eagles play them in October, so that might be a stop. I'm not going to lie, in Vegas. Vegas is my favorite city to visit, so why not? Kenyon Drake isn't bad, but I've never really been a huge Kenyon Drake fan, so they added some beef on defense, but will it be enough? And then their receiving core, we know what Darren Waller brings to the table, obviously. John Brown, I'm a huge fan of John Brown, actually, for whatever reason. Ruggs, I'm nervous because you want to talk about closet fan? I'm a loud closet fan for Alabama. Okay, I'll roll the hell out of that damn tie.
Good luck to you, son.
I rolled the damn tie because Nick Saban is the greatest.
Can we get him to retire, please? I'm sick of this.
You would
guy.
love that, Bulldog.
I am sick of Nick. He just signed an extension too. I'm just sick of this guy. Just retire, please.
Man, he had Ernie Johnson at the camp the other day. I was like, get out of here. Ernie Johnson, the Georgia Bulldog, is doing a speech at Alabama.
We have not beaten Alabama since, I believe, 2007. That's all you need to know since I was in high school.
Keep that streak going. Roll, closet fan, roll tide. Baby, I am a little concerned about Ruggs. I hope he's not a one-trick pony because I've always speak highly on Alabama receivers, route running, this, that, and the third, but I didn't see enough of him last year. You know, they want him to be like that Tyreek Hill type, just, you know, but Tyreek Hill, if you remember, he wasn't always this good. He started off, he was, like Jalen Ramsey said, he's a punt returner or he's a kick returner, whatever he said. But he got better as a route runner, and that's what made him elite. So I think Ruggs just needed to just be in the lab and just work on the route running. He finally got a camp. He didn't have the camp last year, you know, with everything going on. So I think he should make that jump, but to keep it short and simple, even though that wasn't that short, I am not impressed. I'm not impressed. I got him 6 wins. I'm not even going to elaborate on that.
I'll try and be quick about mine. I don't trust Gruden ever since he came out on Monday Night Football and they were like, you gutted this team. You traded your star player in Khalil Mack, and they were like, yeah, we're playing the Bears this weekend. That guy's really good. I'm like, dude, you traded him. Like, what the fuck, man?
And he's been chasing for a pass rusher ever since.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, wow, Khalil Mack, that guy's good. They were like, but you traded him. All right. Anyways, Kenyon Drake, he's always hurt too. So now you've got a hurt running back to back up another hurt running back. So it's just a big hurt family there. The wide receivers, they got a lot of faith in Ruggs and Edwards. They keep talking this guy Edwards up so much. And what's the white boy that only plays slot? Because that's what a white boy is.
I know you. It's fried on the tip of my tongue.
The kid from Clemson, regardless.
Let me ask my guy.
Right. He a white and he ain't gonna cook you like Scotty Miller's gonna cook you. But anyways, they're talking about those guys as being the focal point of the offense. But you obviously bring in a John Brown and a Willie Snead type of player to kind of coach them and mentor them. Blah 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 blah. The O-line, it's sus to me. Alex Leatherwood is good, but we don't know. It's not a gimme yet. The D-line looks amazing. It's a good D-line. The secondary looks kind of solid too. Carl Joseph has been a Raider before. Casey Hayward is now there. And then you throw in Trayvon Moehrig there. I mean, and then whatever you're going to get out of Divine Diablo is going to look good. But the linebacking core, you're just going to be able to throw at him all day. So I got him at 7-10. And that's me being generous of giving him one more win.
I'll give him another win if Marcus Mariota starts, because to me, Marcus Mariota at least has something else he can offer.
Dude, Derek Carr played pretty decent though.
Derek Carr is as average as they come. Okay,
listen, I like Derek Carr too, but like he's been given every opportunity to do better, and it's just subpar.
They got Nathan Peterman in their quarterback room, the worst quarterback in the history of NFL.
Colin Kaepernick can't even get a job. Come on.
They got Nathan Peterman as a third string quarterback. Get out of here, bro.
All right, let's break down the last team, and they're kind of an exciting young one to come up here. So the Denver Broncos nobody knows what's going on at quarterback. That's their biggest flaw in my opinion. So you went and traded to get Teddy Bridgewater. Feel bad for the guy. Offensive tackle Cameron Fleming, re-signed Shelby Harris, cornerback Ronald Darby, cornerback Kyle Fuller, safety Kareem Jackson, and then you franchised and signed safety Justin Simmons. Now, your key departures, Mr. Denver football running back Philip Lindsay is gone. Wide receiver Deshaun Hamilton is gone. Offensive tackle DeMar Dodson is gone. Defensive end DeMarcus Walker. Defensive tackle Jarrell Casey and A.J. Bouye is gone. Now, your draft picks are really, really sexy. I'll give it that. You went and got quarterback Patrick Surtain. You got running back Javonte Williams. Thank you, Jets, for letting me down there. You got center Quinn Miners, and then you got linebacker Baron Browning. So, and you've got Von Miller coming back from his injury. So Von's ready to wreak havoc. He went through his whole little thing on Instagram with his badass chick where he was just going ape shit on that and catching a charge with that. But I think that's all steamrolled out. They're about to have a baby, so Von's head is in the game. So my biggest issue with the Broncos is the quarterback situation. Is it going to be Locke? Is it going to be Bridgewater, who looks comfortable every preseason and every game he fills in, but then when it comes down to shine, he's just like a deer in the headlights. So spit it on the Broncos, someone.
Those Broncos staying a quarterback. Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. I think Vanjo said, "Oh, it's a pretty close competition." As a fan, if you were of Broncos, that's not what you want to hear. Like that's not good. I know they wanted Aaron Rodgers, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. I like this. The offense has talent. I mean, Cortland Sutton comes back from injury. Jerry Jeudy can run the route tree as good as anyone in the league. Noah Fan is there. You got KJ Hamler. The offensive line should be better from a year ago. So it's all about the quarterback. As A-Rod said, who are they going to start? Drew Lock, dude, there were games where he didn't do nothing. And then the fourth quarter, up to like 3 touchdowns. He's like, it's just so up and down. I will say, though, for Teddy, he didn't have Christian McCaffrey last season. And for what it was worth, he played okay in Carolina. I mean, I think Robbie Anderson had like over 1,000 yards. But defensively, I love this defense. And Surtain, he had a pick 6 in that preseason game.
I'm so
Miller's
jealous.
coming back. And, you know, they also got I think Ronald Darby is coming from that football team. Kyle Fuller from the Bears. This defense, if they just have a quarterback, be very, very interesting. And Javonte Williams, I think, will take Melvin Gordon's job sometime this season. But the quarterback, this is what it settles for me. I'm going to go with 7 wins. I love this defense, and they're going to be in some games. I just think the inexperience of the quarterback position is going to be a big letdown. So I'm going with 7, but I could definitely see 8, and probably the high point would be 9 wins for them. But I'm going to go with 7.
I as well have him at 7. Could see 8. Shit, maybe even 9. But I'm gonna keep him at 7. You know how like the Bucks, all they needed was a Tom Brady and they won a Super Bowl. All the Broncos need, like remember back in the day, all they needed was a Peyton Manning and they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All the Broncos need is Aaron Rodgers to come up off that contract and go play for the Broncos, and they'll be in the Super Bowl like that. That team is like the offensive line needs to improve a little bit. You know, they kind of addressed it, but you know, we'll see. But they got weapons galore on the outside, and they got Noah Fant. You know, the running game is going to be solid. But and then you know Melvin Gordon, Royce Freeman, and my problem is the quarterback. You know, the defense is going to be great. You know, they're going to be above average. Okay.
Yeah.
But like Teddy, and I feel bad for Teddy because I like Teddy a lot. But you know, the dude blew out his leg, and he went to the Saints and he was 5-1 or 6-0 when he had to start. So the talent is there. He went 5-11 last year with Carolina. The talent with a brand new team with no C-Mac, the talent is there, but he has a ceiling. It's like my thing I have with Alex Smith, and the same thing I have with Garoppolo, and a lot of these guys, they got a ceiling and they're already there, and there's nothing, like there's no more that they're going to be able to go, like, and that's kind of where they are with him. And then Drew Lock I like, but to me he's not a leader. So if he has to be the guy at the helm, I don't think he has enough of the intangibles to like win them those extra games. But the defense alone will win them 7 games. Could possibly sneak in an 8th, but you know, I think to me they're better than the Raiders, so I'll put them a game ahead of the Raiders and put them at 7 and 10, with an 8th as a possibility, depending on how I'm feeling in a couple of weeks.
I got the same record as you guys, 7 and 10. It's an entirely young team, and it's a really, really good young team that they put together, drafting, all of that. Like they get the steals in the draft all the time. Like there's no reason Surtain shouldn't have been the first cornerback off the board, but for some reason that Wahoo in Carolina wanted horns, so he took him. So it all comes down to the quarterback. I mean, Javonte Williams is going to leapfrog. They always get running backs. They draft running backs, and it's just like a carousel of running backs there. Melvin Gordon's got a DUI case that I'm sure is a headache for the team, and it's a distraction. I'm pretty sure Javonte Williams will leapfrog him at some time, or they'll move him or cut him, whatever. Quarterback is just it. Just because Drew Lock listens to Future, like, I don't care. Teddy Bridgewater, I feel bad for because, like you say, blew out his knee. Then he went to the Saints and balled out, but he had a great offense and defense. Just plug him in. Then he went to the Jets where we got some value for him and didn't do anything. And then he went to a team in Carolina where he could have been successful. But like you said, they had no Christian McCaffrey for him to excel with, and an absolutely horrendous defense, which now is a sexy defense. So there's just a lot of questionable things. I think with these Broncos, I think the most wins you could get would be 10 if Bridgewater starts. You could get 10 wins. I could see it. I think he's a good manager, and I think the offense is really fun and appealing, and the defense is that good. But I just they're young and dumb, and I think 7 and 10 is just a good number to leave it at. Highest being 9 or 10 wins, but 7, 10.
And the crazy thing about them, it's definitely attainable. Like it's not they can't get there. I just feel like if it's Drew, he's definitely not going to get there because he's just not. And then like he mentally is not as good, and then Teddy Bridgewater physically is not as good. So it's like they combine powers, they could probably be 10 and 7. But
and I think if Vic Fangio has another losing season, I'm assuming he's probably done.
Yeah,
I don't see him.
That's a hot seat. That's a hot seat candidate. Yeah.
And also Teddy, like if Aaron Rodgers does leave Green Bay and goes to the Broncos, just retire, bro, because like nothing's good for you. Like you can't get it. Like no one has faith in you. Just
there's nothing wrong being a career backup. Listen, you know who's gonna be the next Fitzpatrick? Gardner Minshew. I cannot wait for him to be a backup quarterback for the rest of his career, but like a Ryan Fitzpatrick kind of backup quarterback. Just be on the lookout for that, guys. Just be on the lookout.
Fitzpatrick, he played for the Rams too back in the day.
Bro, he's played for everybody. He's a woman of the night.
You know what? He's made a pretty good living too, because he's having some decent contracts.
Tell you, that's the best job in the world, man. Just be the backup quarterback that everyone likes. You're gonna be on the team.
Yeah. All right. So now coming into the show, we do a fun segment all the time. So the one that KK and I came up with was, since the NFL wants to be a no fun game, penalties for having fun, for celebrations on the defense, on the offense, and the score, we decided to take some of our favorite touchdown, sacks, etc. celebrations from the NFL. So I got a few. I'm pretty sure like we'll cross paths with all the ones that we can think of. Who wants to start?
Spitball, bro. Just let them all out.
I mean, Victor Cruz.
Victor Cruz is on my list. He's definitely one. The salsa dance.
The salsa dancing, bro. I got old.
I'm his.
That got old.
He was one of the first people. I think he was the first one that I remember.
Have you not watched Chad Johnson? He was the first one to salsa dance on the damn.
You're right.
Chad was ahead of his time.
Chad had a whole bunch of different celebrations though, so Chad's definitely like my wild card on there. I just put Chad Johnson. Anything that he did was very entertaining.
How about Sean Merriman when he used to sack?
Lights out.
Number one.
That lights out was.
I used to do that in the mirror, and it never looked as cool. So I never actually brought it outside the bedroom. But this doesn't look cool. But I like the lights out.
Deion Sanders prime time. Got to put that one there.
How about the Arian Foster when he would score? He would put his hands like this.
Oh, the little
Something different a little bit.
He was big into anime. I think that was the reason why he would do that. I think I remember.
Yeah, just like your boy Jamal Williams.
That dude's crazy, and he's in a good spot, so we'll leave him there. Jamal Anderson, Dirty Bird. That was a big one that was taking the late 90s by surprise. And I think they're like replicating it again in Atlanta, even though they don't score a lot of touchdowns.
Kyle Pitts will score a lot, don't worry.
Yeah. And then the last one I got on my list, since we pretty much said them all, was Cam Newton Superman. One of the real ones is just.
So Cam's my favorite football player in the league. Well, not anymore, but like for a while, Cam was my favorite football player. So the Superman resonated heavy with me. But my two favorite receivers of all time, Chad Ochocinco Johnson and Terrell Owens. Anything that they did was right. When my boy ran onto that star and flexed on him, I loved it. I loved everything about it.
How about the Randy Moss Moon?
The
When he
Moon?
played against the Packers.
Monday Night Football.
That
I was
good.
like, man, Randy, you got some balls, bro. Like, damn.
Wait, was that a playoff game?
Was it a wild card? I think it was a wild card.
Yeah, I think it was a Dante Culpepper, right? I think that's
Oh,
man,
what about the Dante Culpepper? Get your roll on.
Oh yeah.
Get your roll on. So yeah, I mean, this Ray Lewis, his little entrance.
Oh yeah,
eating the grass, throwing it in the air. Dude, I think you call it the squirrel or whatever. Now this is good. I hope that I think it's the preseason. I think they're gonna just flag everything. But once the season starts and everyone's complaining on social media and they get a lot of pressure from everybody, they're gonna chill out with all that stuff.
Oh, one last one. The Heisman pose. Was it Ron Howard or the guy from the Packers who would score and he would always do the Heisman pose?
Who was doing the Heisman?
He played for the Packers and he was mainly a kick return dude.
I can see it in my head, but I don't
He's on ESPN. He's on College Game Day.
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Last name
Howard.
Yeah.
Go Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Blue, man. That's what
Clay Matthews do with the sack thing that he used to do with the arms out. What was another?
Oh yeah. That was.
I just try to think of consistent ones, not just one timers like the Terrell Owens. You didn't know what you was gonna get out Terrell Owens.
I loved it. Get your popcorn ready. Von Miller got his antics too. I like Von Miller's little sack celebration.
I like Von's too.
Like
Von's probably my favorite defensive player. So, but all right.
Are they allowed to do? Are they allowed to do first down? Like do the signal first down? But if they're hovering over somebody and they say first down, is that going to be a flag?
Depends on if the referee got laid the night before. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I think you have to be careful if someone's around you. You know what I mean? Like if you're like pointing, like if someone's like on the floor and you're like this and stuff.
Get out of here.
I think the player positioning and where they're at may determine. Like if you just run off and like do it, I think you'll be fine.
I gotta make a conscious effort in the middle of a damn high pressure football game to run away from the guy that I just caught this pass on to say first down, or I'm getting flagged 15. I'm gonna be pissed, bro. I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, they're gonna start recruiting out of the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts next. So, yay! All right, so that's the show. Let's wrap it up. Gio, appreciate you jumping on, man.
Gio,
plug everything that the listeners should know about you and your podcast and everything.
And when are we gonna see Rudy?
That's a good question. I have a podcast with Rudy tomorrow. I'll let him know. So he's at Sweep the League on Twitter. I'm at Coach Gio. So there's 2 O's there. I'm mostly on Twitter. I'm not really on Facebook or not really on Instagram either. So catch me on Twitter. Nah, bro. You know what? You know what's funny? I actually logged into my MySpace about a year ago. I'm like, yo, this is like they got to make a movie about Tom. Like, forget Mark Zuckerberg.
Yo,
make a movie about Tom. Bro, Tom sold the company at the right time.
Yeah.
He got a ton of money. But yeah, I'm Coach Gio O on Twitter, and that's where you can find me tweeting about just random stuff.
Oh, and really quickly, what you think about your Spurs? This, you guys lost some key players in DeMar DeRozan and Patty Mills. What you think about your Spurs next year?
Listen, man, I've come to the conclusion the past few years, I'm in the mindset we're not going to be very good.
Okay.
So to be honest with you, I'm trusting the process, as the 76ers used to say. They got some good young talent. I'm just hoping we can kind of put together, but the Spurs are going to be in the slumps the next.
You think Popovich lost his touch?
He is stuck in the past a bit, the team game, but to be honest with you, you need that bona fide superstar, and we haven't had that since Kawhi Leonard left us kind of high and dry. I mean, listen, DeMar's great and all, but it's just
you're not that guy, buddy. You're not that guy.
Yeah, he's not that guy. But as a Spurs fan, listen, we got 5 championships. I'm spoiled. I'm okay with the losing. I just need the Rams and the Georgia Bulldogs to finally beat Alabama, and I think I'll be all right.
No chance.
Not even gold medalist Keldon Johnson, man. Ooh.
Oh,
hey,
there we go.
Keldon's a good. Hey, they're gonna have some good young players. They got this kid Trey Jones got like 30-something points in a summer league. They're gonna have talent, but you know how the NBA is, man. It's a long season, and when you got a young team like that, you're gonna be in for it. So, and we don't have too many veterans either, really, on this
No,
team.
you don't.
It's just a bunch of young dudes, and we signed McDermott and Zach Collins. So we have money. We just couldn't get anybody to sign with us. So it's gonna be a long season. We won't be worse than the Magic, though. I'll tell you that.
The Magic gonna be solid next year. The Magic gonna be solid. Yeah, they are.
All
They
right.
got a lot of young guys, bro. They got a lot of young guys.
All right, we'll see.
A lot of young talent.
White boys just shoot the three in my book. So we got McDermott. So, all right. So wrapping up the show, Twitter @fair_weather_pod, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, The Fair Weather Podcast. You can search there to find us. And wherever you subscribe or listen to podcasts, we are available there as well. Boys, a lot of fun today.
I got nothing else to add. He's out.
Later.
Gio, thank you for coming by.